Matt Lenihan for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. Delighted to be joined by IBF World Champion, Showtime Sonny Edwards. Sonny, all good?
EastEnder, weekend offender.
Yeah.
You got it on the t-shirt.
Absolutely, yeah, of course I do. Look, you're here for your media workout day. I've just seen you now. You've been in the ring, with your kids. It's a huge moment for you. This debut for Matchroom on DAZN on June 10th. How proud are you of sort of at this point in your career now, where you're on the verge of some mega fights?
Yeah, on the verge of them, but for me, I'll be real, probably only as close as ever been. Until a contract's agreed, no. Until I start seeing posters, no. Until I get in the ring and the first bell goes ding, that's when I'll get excited about one of these fights, because any unification, any fighter that I've ever looked at in my whole career and thought, oh, he's got a profile, that would make a good fight, never happens. So until one of them does, I can't get excited about him, I'll be real.
You must feel a little bit more confident, though, that these fights are going to get made now that you've linked up with Eddie Hearn and DAZN, and obviously you were talking about it for so long, but you get linked with the same names all the time. Surely now, though, the part of you going with Eddie is the fact that he can deliver for you?
Yeah, but I mean, he can deliver and he can try to deliver, but unfortunately, unfortunately for some, we're in a sport and an era where you can't just put a gun to someone's head and say, oh, you have to fight Sonny Edwards. So there will always be another route in professional boxing. There will always be another fight they can have. Look at Martinez. There will always be someone else they can choose. They can choose even if it doesn't make sense to anyone. Once a fighter signed a contract that says they get this many fights a year, minimum purse, this, that, and that, until I mesh with their career prospects, and it's like, oh, yeah, Sonny's now 32-0. We've all avoided him for so long, but now the fight's worth 10 million. Yeah, now we'll fight him. Like, yeah, maybe. But until it actually gets to the point of nailing down the fights, I'm not holding my breath. I'm not getting my hopes up. It's Campos now. Underwhelming opponent for me personally. I don't think no one really cares about him. It's the Sonny signing to the DAZN and the Matchroom show, and that's fine. It's been like that pretty much every single fight. Even when I'm fighting really good fighters, I've not got the credit. But when the fights happen is when they're ready for them to. Like, I can never do no more than I've already been doing for as long as I have been doing.
I was just about to say, like, in terms of opponents, you've never shied away from saying what you want. Martinez, Bam, whoever, bring them on. Are you at the point now where it's getting a bit like, I just don't care. I've said what I've had to say, because this has not been new. You've been doing this for 2 years since you've won the belt. Look, give me Bam, give me Martinez. Let's go. You're at the point now where it's like, look, don't even mention it, because I've been doing that. Because it almost seems a bit pointless. They need to now want to fight you, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think you can see from my response, I don't even get a dopamine hit when I talk about them or get asked about them no more. At first, when I got to world level, now they're asking me about unification fights. There's a buzz to talk about. 2 years later, mandatories after mandatories and voluntaries. Bear in mind, look, I've stalled my career a couple of times to try and make the fights happen, like to make a big fight happen. Like, I haven't fought in 6 months, 7 months. Before that, I fought, and then there was a time I hadn't fought in about 6, because I'm trying to make these fights happen. Like, you're waiting for emails back, you're waiting for conversations back, and then it just never happens. It's like I said, I'm ADHD. I don't get the dopamine hit from them no more. So, like, until it's like, oh, contract, yeah, can't wait. Until then, it's just something that I get asked about all the time.
Apart from them two names, though, what about WBA champion Lenihan? If there's a chance that them two can't, for some reason, be made with yourself, you bounce into that fight and try unify?
Yeah, but I got offered that fight on Usyk Fury undercard. Not Fury.
Joshua.
Usyk Joshua undercard in Saudi. And it was like, oh, Sonny, unification. No, we were trying to make it happen. Eddie Hearn was trying to make it happen. Oh, yeah, Dalicane's not got back. Don't fancy it. So, like, imagine 2 Ukrainians, 2 British, Saudi, world titles. We could have been the starter, the appetizer, the entree, if it were, as it were,
yeah,
for the big event, but didn't fancy it. So, and I've sparred him. Like, I've been his paid sparring partner twice. Gone over to Ukraine for like periods of time. So I think there's even less chance of Dalican fighting me. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's been in the ring with me. You know what I mean?
I was just about to say, do you think maybe you get him for paid sparrings? Maybe doing you a bit of damage moving forward. The fact that he's been there with you.
It did, but it also got me to meet Moretti, see him up close, him talk to me and tell me after I jumped at the first spar with DAZN and Moretti Mafalani, who I ended up boxing for the world title, told me 100% you will be a world champion. When he said that, I didn't think he thought it would be against him, but you know how mad how the world works. But yeah, so maybe it did and didn't at the same time.
Tony Bellew's come out and said some really nice things about you. I think whenever everyone talks to you, there's always a lot of things to say normally, but one of the main positives, he says you're one of the most talented fighters he's seen over the past decade. That's someone who's won a world title, who's been in big fights. What does it mean when you hear guys like Tony Bellew say these good things about you for your achievements? Because I know you want in these other fights to sort of really cement that legacy and unify, but he's already saying, you know what, past decade, one of the most talented fighters, gifted fighters.
Yeah, and I would say I'm inclined to agree with him as well. In all seriousness, though, obviously signing for Matchroom FC has its perks.
Matchroom FC, exactly, yeah.
Nah, I'm joking. But Tony, like, if you actually look, like, me and Tony go a little bit way back. I was just saying before how he seen me losing the ABA finals in Echo Arena, walk straight past him, not even collect my medal when he was handing them out. You know what I mean? So, not on a personal diss to him. I just didn't want a second place. But yeah, so he's seen that. He would have remembered that. And now to see me sort of in the position that I'm in, getting talked about the way I'm being talked about, and genuinely the performances that I show, like, I would ask anyone that, you know, who in 19 fights, a world title win and 3 world title defences, title fights just all through any comers as quick as I could get them through the door. Who else has made boxing from Britain look as consistently easy as me? I would challenge you to ask, because usually people
We'll put that out there. We'll put that out there as a poll and see if anyone can come back with anything else, because, like you said, there's a lot of truth to what you're saying.
And, like, okay, people try and pick apart my resume, yeah, but people that actually know boxing know that I've had some hard fights in there. I shouldn't even box Farag when I boxed him. Most people wouldn't have boxed a former European champion at the weight above in his 8th fight. Like, defending my title against him, like, no one would have done that. Like, and a lot of things, like Moretti, 13 years unbeaten, Ring Magazine #1 at the time, most avoided fighter probably of his decade, yeah, across every weight, yeah. Alvarado, unbeaten in 8 years, Ring Magazine #1 at light flyweight, came up as an avoided fighter, no one would unify against him, coming up to challenge me, and as soon as, okay, then come straight through the door, and I beat him and sent him back to Nicaragua as well. Like, no one else really does it like me, I don't think. And I don't think very few have done it like me. And I think the fact that I do it without power, yeah, should prove and show people that know boxing that it's probably more impressive. The fact that I can beat people so easily over 12 rounds, and whether they're getting hurt or not is subjective. You understand?
Absolutely. Why do you feel that you don't get the credit for this, like, world title win? Why do you feel it? Is it because you're outspoken? Everybody knows that not to dare cross you online, obviously, as well as in the ring, because, you know, it's no holds barred. But why do you feel you don't get the credit?
Nah, I think a lot of it's to do with the weight. I feel like I've kind of, the flyweights, especially in Britain, I've kind of revolutionised. I think, well, I know the landscape that my brother got into and walked through, so I know I've changed it, you know. I know I've changed the interest, the level of interest. I know I've changed a lot of things. Also, now people are like, they can put my name with 5, 6, 7 flyweights, super flyweights, that'll make good fights, and they're pretty much all with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, do you know what I mean? So as long as they fight me, I could have that career that really starts turning into, you know, one of those great lightweight boxing careers that come a bit outside of just the weights. You got to remember, if you're a middleweight or you're a super middleweight, except any weight really, what you can do is, first of all, you can make a career dragging up people that aren't as good as you on short notice, that are really the weight below, so you keep knocking them out. So you keep getting that knockout reel, so you keep getting that, oh, he's got a half decent record, but really he boxed 7 pounds at every fight lighter than what he's fighting. And then they have, all of a sudden, this big puncher going to be world level. And really, the reality is, they just got in the ring with someone too small for them, underprepared, that weren't probably good enough to be in the ring anyway, with a built-up record because they're an easier weight, where they would have tried to sell tickets for a few years, got 10 wins, now lost once, and now they're fighting. But at my weight, it doesn't exist, because most people that don't do it properly, yeah, my stature, are still like featherweights, or still like super featherweights, or lightweights, like, because they just bulk up and get stronger. Like, the people that really get down to these lighter weights, they don't just sit there. I get on the scales at 50.8 kilos. Off the scales at 50.8 kilos to make championship weight. Within 3 weeks, I'm 61, 62. If I keep eating, I'm getting up to 65, 66, 67. That's a welterweight. So I have the weight on me, but then I just have to spend the weeks doing it properly and getting it down. But I can't pick people, far smaller than me, or people that was built up on a few domestic TV fights, etc. I can't do that because I'm the one that's been on flyweight fighting on all the TVs. I'm the name that they remember. And then there's been some fighters spring off me that other people have been able to attach onto, and it started the ball rolling. At the end of my career, flyweights will probably be one of the best weights in the country.
Absolutely, interesting point. Look, we're pressed for time, so have you got a message for everyone who's going to be tuning into this next chapter of your career, Matchroom debut on DAZN next week? Got a message for these guys?
And just stay tuned. It's going to be an exciting one.
Stay tuned. So, Showtime, Sonny Edwards. This will be the fight, hopefully, to propel him into these unifications and hopefully one day an undisputed. Appreciate you talking to Boxing Social as always. We'll catch up soon.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you.